If you're an investor in the tech space, there is one company that you absolutely have to understand. You've probably never bought one of their products, but without them, yeah, the entire digital world just stops. So let's pull back the curtain on ASML, the company that is, without a doubt, the undisputed king of the semiconductor industry.
Look at that number, 100%. No, that is not a typo. ASML has a complete, total, 100% monopoly on the single most important machine for making advanced computer chips. You want to make a cutting-edge AI chip, a new smartphone processor, you have to go to them. There is literally no plan B.
So, what is this magic they're selling? Well, the process is called lithography. The easiest way to think about it is like a projector for microchips, but, an unbelievably complex one. These machines print microscopic patterns. We're talking billions of transistors onto silicon wafers. It is the absolute foundation for every chip in the world.
Okay, so from an investor's perspective, a monopoly is obviously fantastic. But how does that actually turn into a great business? Well, ASML has this really powerful two-part model, and you really need to get this to understand their financial strength.
It basically breaks down into two big chunks. You can see that about 3/4 of the money comes from selling these brand new, shiny machines. But that other quarter, that's what they call installed base management, and that's where things get really interesting. Right, here's the deal. Selling a machine for hundreds of millions of dollars is great, but it's a one-time thing. It's the service business that investors just fall in love with. Why? Because it's high margin, recurring revenue. It's like an annuity. Every machine they sell becomes this predictable cash flow stream for decades. Service, software, upgrades. It gives them this incredible stability, even when the chip industry goes through its classic boom and bust cycles.
And all of this brings us to the real heart of the bull case for ASML, its competitive advantage, what investors call a moat. Honestly, calling it a moat doesn't even do it justice. It's more like a giant ocean protected by these 4 layers that make it just about impossible to cross.
First, there's the technology itself, which is just insane. It sounds like science fiction. To get the light they need, the machine shoots a high-power laser at a tiny molten tin droplet, 50,000 times a second. This creates a plasma, which gives off the light, and then that light is bounced off the flattest mirrors humanity has ever created, all inside a perfect vacuum. It's just a mind-boggling feat of engineering.
And how do you stay on top of that kind of science? You spend a fortune. We're talking more than 4 billion euros every single year just on R&D. That creates this huge financial wall. I mean, who could possibly even afford to try and catch up?
So let's just recap the fortress. You've got the insane technology, which is protected by over 5,000 patents. Then, you've got this whole ecosystem where key suppliers and even their biggest customers, think Intel, TSMC, actually help fund the research. And finally, the switching costs are just enormous. Chip factories are literally built around these machines. Trying to swap one out would cost billions and set you back years. That right there is a fortress.
But a great fortress isn't enough. You have to keep growing. So, where's the next wave going to come from? Well, for ASML, the answer has a name: High-NA. High-NA is the next big leap. These are the brand new next-generation machines. They let chip makers cram nearly 3 times more transistors onto a chip. This is the only way we're going to get to 2-nanometer chips and beyond. This is the technology that's going to power the entire industry for the next decade. And talk about good timing. This new tech is landing right in the middle of the AI explosion. All those AI data centers need unbelievably powerful chips, and that demand is creating a tidal wave. The market for those chips is set to more than double by 2030. And guess what? Every single one of those advanced AI chips, they all depend on ASML. It's the ultimate picks and shovels play for the entire AI megatrend.
And the company's own management is pretty confident about this. They're telling investors they expect revenues to potentially double by 2030, and get this, with even better profit margins. That's the kind of long-term growth story that gets Wall Street really, really excited.
Okay, but let's take a breath. No investment is a sure thing, and for a company this important, sitting at the center of global technology and politics, well, the risks are pretty big too. So if we're going to be smart about this, we have to look at the challenges with our eyes wide open. And the number one risk, without a doubt, is geopolitics. Just look at this. In 2024, a jaw-dropping 41% of their system sales went to China. Why? Because Chinese firms were panic buying, trying to get machines before new export controls kicked in.
But anytime you see that much of your business tied to one single country, that is a massive red flag.
And hey, don't just take it from me. ASML's own management has been totally upfront about this. They have explicitly told investors that these sales levels to China are not sustainable and that they expect them to fall. That creates what some people are calling a potential revenue cliff as these new export rules take full effect. It's a huge unknown.
So let's just run through the investor's risk checklist. The chip industry is famously cyclical. It goes up and down. Geopolitics, we just saw, is a major problem. The company's also super reliant on just 3 main customers. And finally, their whole growth story depends on executing this new high-NA platform perfectly. Any slip up there could be a big problem.
Which really brings us to the core tension of this whole thing. For anyone looking at ASML, you have to ask yourself this. The company has built this technological fortress that seems completely impenetrable from the inside. But in our world today, are the biggest threats actually coming from the outside, from politics? That's the question every single investor has to wrestle with.